Okay, we are back, and we're gonna keep this as brief as possible from 3/8 till today. So one thing, we started doing workouts at quadruped, so everything in a line, not outwards like the Da Vinci, but in a line like gorillas would do, and it helps push things into your sockets, which helps with recovery. A lot of the exercises online, like the rotations, external rotations, and a bunch of weightlifting, they don't really replicate like the gorilla and pushing things into your sockets. And I found a lot of times you can kind of dislocate, or if you have EDS, you can kind of remove things from the socket by doing some. But that's not good. The gorilla is great, so you kind of do your hands, do your legs, and pushing them against things, and preferably the closer to your body, the better. This is just currently going back to work, which is fantastic, and just have to loop in pretty much everyone from management, which would be expected, so that's awesome. And then here is again from LTD. If anybody is experiencing LTD issues, a lot of them have an auto appeal process depending on how the doctor engages. You can actually you don't need to appeal yourself. Almost always the first response is a deny for any claim, short term or long term, and then you appeal, but that can be automatically done if the doctor and your LTD claim representative kind of are in conversation to make that happen. And so that's awesome there. And then there's some contact information. So here we ordered the sea lettuce and the wakame, plastic bag plus desiccant. If you don't put the nori in a plastic bag plus a desiccant while it's at room temp, it becomes very soft in about 8 hours, definitely by next day. So it's good to do if you want it crispy, which is easier to eat. Hello toothpaste has an ingredient that I think it's Cocomil is in the name, and 5 to 10% of users it creates mouth ulcers. I can tell you, if you have even a cut, like if you bite yourself and you use it, you're leaving it up to chance. Sometimes it doesn't do anything, sometimes it definitely does aggravate, so just preferring not to use it as if you bit yourself recently. Toothpicks, so we have water picks, so we use that to dislodge something in the back right next to a filling, that if you don't dislodge it, it gets crammed more and more, and it starts hurting. External keyboard, so the Lenovo LQ15, the space key stopped working, probably due to little debris inside, and so when you hit the space key it doesn't go down all the way. We have a keyboard, we're looking at it, and it helps because the space key is great, and the whole keyboard is great. It's like $8 or $9. It's fantastic. Control Shift Alt D discards your draft. It's also the date shortcut we use, so now we're using Control Shift Alt I for the date time shortcut. In Gmail, this did not crash after disabling the Nvidia driver. So it is the Nvidia driver. Some firms do allow installing of certain software, some don't. Like some are blocked, and you'd be surprised which ones are allowed, which ones aren't, so check with your firm. This happened a few nights ago. So we were watching a video at 4x the speed. We couldn't quite get it with the language node in and out, but if you press down hard, similarly like pressing down on the gut and being present with the pain, and we'll cover that, you can't get it. So that's a little weird. Language node is the strongest thing I know for almost everything. So that seemed to be stronger, but it seemed to take a lot more focus. It wasn't as seamless, so we'll see. When you try to get, do the nerve glides and get your wrists unstuck, if you do it well enough, they will get unstuck, and you'll see the same recovery dragon as you do for your gut. EMFs, definitely real outside. Was feeling behind the phone, like kind of my hand, especially the pinky. There's pain there. Some people are more sensitive. The moment you ground, so stuck my foot in the soil, the voltage stopped and the pain went away, which is awesome. I don't know why we've had a string of really good luck. We're really into reality, really kind of feeling things and enjoying things. I think that might be causing the luck. It might be giving back through knowledge, but probably that. Just being very into reality and enjoying it. And we're chunking in terms of exercise as well in terms of research, and that means taking in larger and larger text in one go, as well as doing like the nerve flexions in one go. So instead of the pinky, we do the entire arm. Always. So this inversion is very important to get things unstuck. So always, if you're having trouble just going up and down, go left and right, kind of perpendicular to whatever it is that is injured. You will be surprised how much it helps unstuck things, relieve pain. This is what we talked about. If any manufacturer of any product, especially food related, doesn't specify the certifications, it's probably because they don't have it. Because if it's costly to get, so they need to say, hey, we have it. From a resource standpoint, that helps out from a revenue standpoint, and that way they can make a profit. Otherwise, no one would get any certifications ever. So they will publish it if they have it. So all this stuff, so this computer doesn't necessarily go off. And if we're gonna go hibernate, you need to enable it on this computer. It's pretty much like a full shutdown, except it saves your data, and it doesn't put it to sleep, because if it puts it to sleep, sometimes it's a sleep idle, or like a standby, and it doesn't really go to sleep. There's a bunch of fans, and then when you come back from night, the computer doesn't work because it's been on actually. So Scoop is to download. It's like a user-defined, locally scoped downloading tool for everything, so it's really cool. If you want to install things and you don't want to run around looking for user or portable versions, this is what we're doing now. We plugged in the mic and we turned the gain up, and we went to system settings on Windows, and we turned the microphone up at 100 as well, so hopefully you guys can hear me better, which is awesome from what I tested. This is what we said. Yeah, don't crank up volume just because someone's talking to you loudly from anything. That will hurt your ears. This is being with the pain, so bottom line, you focus on the pain wherever you're having it. If it's fibromyalgic, CFS related, and you're like just with it. And you can press more and be more with it, almost like focus, press more, and it'll amplify, but not necessarily in pain, and then it'll just go away, and then it'll start feeling good. And you want to kind of hold on to that feeling as much as you can before it breaks or you let go. And that's all with the brain, pretty much, with the mind. You focus on it, you feel it. If you do it on your gut, you'll experience a lot of gas, but then it will go away, and then you'll feel a lot lighter. And you keep doing that, and they stack. And they stack in a wave-like format. So, for instance, if you do it today, you might experience the benefits, yes, right now, but maybe tomorrow at the same time. And then the day after, maybe a little less, But if you do it again tomorrow at the same time, then the day after you might experience much more. So it does stack in a wave-like fashion. There's just some search terminology. And again, some kind of IT terminology around changes to systems that major corporations do. The synopsis is for auditors in general. This is just general guidance. If there is information coming out of the system, you have to test it, which sounds pretty basic, but if it's used anywhere in the company that is significant, you have to test it. Waterfall, so you have Agile, which is pretty much daily or weekly, you redo whatever you're thinking, and then Waterfall is you plan everything and then just do it afterwards. This is super strict, this is super flexible, and then CI/CD is usually paired with Agile, and which is continuous integration, continuous deployment. This is in test, this is usually in production, and then Sec is you stick security everywhere along that project in Agile. And there's also playbooks, which is like what you do, and those apply really to both. But if your shift key is stuck or some key is stuck, you should look to other files and programs. Some program is probably hung somewhere. And there's also decentralized version control software and centralized version control software. Again, that's a spectrum. And usually, lean means you don't have a lot of requirements. And you only have what you care about, which is very hard to get to, especially with waterfall, because there's a lot of requirements and they end up getting done anyways at a huge cost. With Agile, and that's why lean is more with Agile, it's every week or every day you decide, no, this doesn't go, and then it's easy to scrap. And that way you get a very lean product. And again, this is a 0 or 1, no VACS is one or the other, so it's somewhere in between. OneDrive can be a real pain in terms of freeing up space to sync. Like if you have a bunch of things synced and you're trying to free up space and you just deselect, it could give you an error and you're stuck with the files. There are ways to do that. You want to desync them slowly. You can right click and say free up space in the file explorer. OneDrive, we're still exploring those, but in the settings you can go like here to OneDrive and then find it in the settings as well, account and then folder to sync or not sync. Sometimes there's Wall Street Journal, depending on which credit card. I think most credit cards go up to 6% savings. Some, if you're on a special plan and you're maxed out, heard it can go up to 25%. And then if you work at a specific bank, you can get up to 50% as part of that bank like employment bonus. 50% of all your costs through credit card, which is crazy, but that's how it is. So if you need to use a bidet-like thing, it's best to just get a bidet attachment. You can use a reverse pump. It's called a transfer pump, water transfer pump, and there's some battery power, there's some manual, but usually it's just better to get one of the non-electric bidets that just uses the pressure from the toilet. And it's like $40. It's not that bad. In fact, the transfer pumps are all like 45, 100, some of them are 100. This is if you are kind of squunched in for your sockets and you want to reduce pain, again, through Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or you have some overextension. Keeping it like an upside down F. Did I say that? I said that somewhere down here. But yeah, also if you tilt right and left, you can even hear the crack. So it kind of goes into the socket in that way. it's out of the socket, it's horrible, there's a lot of pain, you can't do anything, and you injure real easy, so it's definitely best to tilt left and right. Back and forth with the shoulders, okay, but not as great as going up and down, and then definitely inwards and tilting. And also all the grips, if you do all the grips, the mouth, hands, feet, and the taste, it like auto goes in, which the theory is it counteracts like inflammation, and it does, like, things just work. So, and also fixing your gut helps with the taste, so it's all kind of linked. This is the next round of more Seaweed, and these are all readily available on Amazon with decent ratings, like 4.4 or higher. And if you are on a new device like your phone, your laptop, another laptop, and you're using AI, if you need to start a new chat. If you don't, and you have the same chat, and you say one question and then another question, whichever one you're on last gets saved, the other one gets deleted. And if you keep going with the questions, that whole chat history gets deleted. So just start a new chat. It's the safest. It doesn't cost anything. Let's see. Do we have anything on these guys? You can see some of the ones that we're looking at to buy. I think this one was the one we got, and then this one, organic, is more sustainable or traceable, and it's cheaper than the choice, so we're trying out that one. Let's see if we have anything here. Nope, there's this guy called CFS Recovery, and he has a brain retraining. The thing we talked about, focusing on the pain, he pretty much says that's his technique. We just kind of rolled a variant on it, and apparently it helps a lot of people. Also Nori, I posted that Nori helps take the pain away drastically. And seaweeds are like known for, they are the nerve plants. Like, there are some seaweeds that are 60% or greater EPA or other like phospholipids that just help anything, neural related, they excel at. Astaxanthin is red macroalgae like nori. There's the connection. I mean, it's, yeah, anyways, that's helped me out. Let's see if there's anything here. Not particularly. And then we use PDF SAM to merge things. It's great, open source, love them. Emerald Cove and a bunch of things are owned by, I believe it's Far East or some sort of, something like the Great Sun, some sort of overarching Asiatic enterprise that has a bunch of different, I've seen tofu brands under them, seaweed brands under them, so they're pretty crazy. And then there are a few pictures. It's always good to look at pictures when you're learning anything, because pictures, it sticks. And then the other one, okay, yeah, so that's everything. Hopefully that helps you. That's the purpose of this. Okay, I did miss one thing here, so we're gonna go back here. This is 3/8, so we slept that much. This is being with the pain. We get a lot of taste coming out of that right afterwards, which is fantastic. Like passive taste. We even started to chew quickly again, our food, to even get more taste from, there's definitely some sort of, the faster you chew, the more like pleasure, honestly, you get from the food, whereas if you chew slowly, you don't get the same. Maybe it has to do with breaking down the contents and surface area and friction, but it's great when you chew fast. Yeah, pleasure gets you definitely deeper into this world. You can focus, you can stress, but really pleasure is what keeps you in and gets you deeper, so I would highly encourage just enjoying everything as much as possible. And sharper, there's like a level of enjoyment. It's not just I'm enjoying this or not. It's like, yes, you can enjoy more, but it's a kind of an uptick feeling. It's and you'll you'll feel it's kind of like a very sharp pleasure that helps get you to places that you can't otherwise go, in terms of being attached to reality. Not getting injured. Yeah, so when you have to go and you're immobilized, it's better to not undo several days of rehab because you have to go. So just keep that in mind. Physical health is more important than maybe a small accident. Computer that on restarts. Yeah, so this is when we're troubleshooting. So the Nvidia driver always tries to hog power after a sleep. These are some future goals, like doing exercise to get back to walking, doing another fasting mimicking diet round whenever our arms feel good again, and then kind of help the family health and with things that require through the health journey, like don't eat, for instance, anything on Gundry's no list because it's literally toxic and you don't know until you get really sick. So things like that. And eat a lot of ferments and seaweeds, and there's ways to work that into the food, like super tasty. There was a gal on a podcast talking the other day, and she makes like nut butter chocolate bars that have seaweed in them for an umami, and apparently they like sold out. Like she like literally couldn't even, because it's pretty much candy. You can do algae oils like for sugar. It's so much sweeter than sugar. You don't even need that much. So, Chi Check just makes you heal and makes you feel good. Maybe some sort of luck involved there at the end of the day. And you can use the positive experiences during the day to pretty much feel good, and you eliminate all the bad experiences from your body as much as possible. So it's good to do like a chi, like check, did you do it? If not, channel the chi. Yeah, so here you can either forward project, which helps you move to the next thing, ask the right questions, etc. Yes, you can kind of connect the dots when you're with other people, and it might lead to humor, but future project is so important because there might be things you need to do now, and if you don't do them now, then it doesn't matter how funny you are, you might not have food for tomorrow. So, and also by being funny, by being positive and enjoying life, you can flip a conversation. So it happened here. Not necessarily being funny, just being positive. Okay, so the acupressure on 4 points, so this point, like in the middle right there, and then 3 fingers down there, those help a lot with, if you just keep kind of pressing down on them and going clockwise. In terms of a forward dragon, I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but it's a taste, like a persistent taste that you, instead of emitting gas, you get hungry. Instead of exercise causing you like pain and sluggishness, you get like energized. It almost flips everything, like, and instead of feeling, instead of not tasting things, you taste things vividly. And all that, this thing gets it back. So if you experience like trauma, any major gut issue, you like kind of lose it, which is horrible. This gets it back, as well as two inhales and 1 large exhale. Gets it back, and you might need to do it over and over. Usually this takes at least maybe 2 minutes, at the most 10. This takes maybe 5-6 reps of doing that. So, but it does. These are sugar loaded, but cultures use it to heal the gut along with fasting, and so it might be better to do just ketogenic autophagy and fasting based on Gundry instead of trying these. But looking at what other cultures did, it's a shot. EMDR also seems to propel the dragon forward. Oh, all of these do. So EMDR, deep gut pleasure, and then being with the pain, which we've talked about. And if you try, if you try any of them, they auto-link, like there's a line drawn, at least in my mind, there's a line drawn to the forward dragon, and it goes, same thing with sleep, so if you go to sleep and there's a right language, it'll auto-link with dragon and go forward, which is fantastic, because that's auto get that taste, which is great. Yeah, and this is definitely nerve related, because when you started eating nori, all the seaweed for nerves, you also do these things which we know are nerve bundles and work with, yes, chi, but chi also activates nerves. It's very nerve related, the dragon. Eating ferments helps with the vagus nerve, but eating ferments alone doesn't always do it. So I don't think it's just dysbiosis, I think it's mainly nerve related. And when you are gripping all the time, you protect your arms, especially from a yank, because the sinews are protected by the muscles. When the dragon is out, you also experience pleasure from exercise. So if you run, if you lift, that pump, it feels good instead of really bad. And we talked about that. And then we talked about the all grips gets you that dragon forward further and further. Okay, hopefully I'll merge this with the other video, but yeah, hopefully this helps you.